I don't want to take away from anything that you've heard or
Just keep adding. Keep adding.
anything that maybe has been said. Maybe I can, the Lord will bless me, maybe I can build upon it just a little bit. Could be the Lord's will. Maybe I can just be a, maybe I can be a vessel this morning.
Yeah.
To say what needs to be said. I try to sing a song and
Let the Lord work. Let him work.
the Lord will bless me. I'll speak a few words and I'll try to get out of the way. And I feel like we've got other preachers here who are probably a lot more qualified or probably preach a lot better than I can.
I don't think so.
We all have our life.
It hasn't gotten
We all
any
have our
easier
life.
over the past year or two.
Can't preach yours.
I can only do my best.
That's right. Just lean on the Lord. Here I am.
So I'll sing a
One more time.
song, I guess, in the spirit of Father's Day, and we'll go from there. I saw two little feet walking in
Sing
my
it.
footprint.
Come on, let it go.
I heard a little voice asking things I didn't know. Felt some tiny fingers reaching out for direction.
Come on.
Kind of like you, it's hard to sing anything. When you start getting blessed, you can't really get another word out.
Come on.
And I've rarely made it through this song. If he's gonna follow me, I need to know which way to go. If he's following me, Lord, I need to follow you. If I'm a living example,
Yeah. And you are.
I need a whole lot of your life. These steps that I take, they will influence him forever.
That's right. You better think about that.
I can't afford to lose. God help me to make it right.
God, help me make it right.
I've wasted so much time seeking after worldly pleasure. But with each passing day, Lord, you knocked at my heart's door.
Yeah.
Though I gave you
believe that.
rejection, you just kept right on loving me. But you sure got my attention.
Yeah.
Through Daddy's little You know, I'll cut it off right there. I can't make it much farther in it.
Come on. Pour your heart
You
out.
know, it's a kind of a touchy day for me when we have Father's Day, and
I understand.
you know, if you don't know me, then I'll go ahead and tell you I grew up my whole life without a dad and never really knew the love between a father and son, I guess, until I had my own. And you know, a lot of people in this world, things like that, missing a parent or missing someone in their life, you see them take some wrong roads and
That's
make some
right.
bad decisions, and it
Right.
really hardens someone's heart, it really does. You know, it's a sad thing for a child to wonder why they don't have,
Yeah.
you know, one or the other. But you know, I guess I was one of the lucky ones, you know. At a younger age, not as young as many here, but at a young age, I found the Lord. And if anything can get you through things, you know, He's one that
That's
can
right.
do it.
Yep.
I
He can
found
fill
my
all them
father a
voids.
few years ago. You know, He's left behind this word for me, and I've learned a lot on how to be a man and how to be a father through it, how to be a husband,
That's right.
how to be the person
on.
I need to be
Let it
in
go.
this world here. You know, I found here's what it takes to be a father on this day. You know, show your children what it really is about. You know, love your wife as the Lord loved the church.
That's right. Amen.
You know, that's what it takes to be a
Amen.
real father today. Show your children what it's about. Teach your children about Jesus.
Lord.
Let them know that. Don't you leave a question behind that when you
right.
leave this world that you're going anywhere but the heaven's land. Let your children know that.
Don't
If
leave
your
that
children
doubt out
love
there.
you when they
That's right.
think of you when you're gone, that's what they're going to think about. You know, I think so often about my grandmother and wonder what's she doing now. And you know, I can't comprehend what the joys of heaven are going to be. But you know, she left behind, letting me know that that's what she believed in, and that's where I think, brother, and I truly believe that she's at. And when I leave this world, I want my children to know, and if I live long enough, I want my grandchildren to know. And even if I never see them, I want them to know that. Old Shadrach, he believed in the Lord. He trusted the Lord, and the Lord guided him through this world. You know, I think so much about my brother Jeremy there, who can't be here today. But let me tell you what it takes to be a father. Me and him don't agree on hardly anything. But you know where I get my respect for him? You know, not too long ago when they had that little girl Olivia there, let me show you what it takes to be a father. You know, they said the little girl was going to be a vegetable. They said that she was going to have all these problems. That's what the doctor said. Let me tell you about what it takes to be a father. You know, he could have done anything. He could have went anywhere. But let me tell you where he went. He went down to his knees. That's what it takes today to be a father. You want to be a father when your children are in trouble, you go to your father. I'm not talking about your physical father here. I'm talking about that heavenly master that I serve. Listen to me, you want to know what he's done for me. You know, it says here in the Bible, you just open it up and you'll see in the beginning it says that God created the heaven and the earth that we stand on, the trees that you see out here, and the air that you breathe. It all came from God.
Yes, it did.
Well, you know, not too long after, you can read through this book. You know, they took Jesus, they took him there and they crucified him on an old rugged cross. What is that rugged cross made of? It's made from the trees. You know, what was that crown of thorns made of? Brother, it come from those thorns there that grow out of that ground. Listen to me, you know, my Father loved me so much. And if you want to talk about predestination, this is where I call it predestination. See, I wasn't born for heaven or hell, brother. I was born with free will, and so was everybody here. It's up to you to decide where you're going to go. You know, and I've seen so many people say, you know, if it was meant to be, my children, they would go to church. If it was meant to be, if they were meant for heaven, my Lord would bring them there one day. That's not true. It's time for you to be the father that you need to be. Take them out to church and let them know what you stand for. Now listen to my Lord, He loved me so much that you want to talk about predestined? I believe that He knew that He was going to have to
Yes,
send
He
His
did.
Son.
Yes,
And
He
you
did.
know, I believe
That
He knew
whole plan
that
was
when He
predestined.
formed this world. He formed this world. And if you've ever read anything
Yeah.
about a crucifixion, you know it don't take long for the person on that cross to die.
No.
But let me tell you what manner of man it was that was on that cross. How many days did it take Him there? And still up there just preaching and going on, showing the world that He was more than a man. But let me tell you, He hung upon
He could last
the
long
cross.
as he wanted to.
Let me tell you, He
Decided it
made,
was time.
if you think about it, brethren, He knew what He was going to have to do. No question in my mind, that's the kind of Lord I believe in today. You know, He's up on the cross that He made Himself. He had on His head
That's right.
a crown of thorns that He made
He
for
grew 'em.
Himself.
That's right.
You know, man didn't make those things. He knew that those, what was going to happen. He made the own instruments of His torment here on this world, and He done it for you and me. How many of us here would do something like that? Make a device to torture yourself in front of so many just to save a few. I know I couldn't do it, but my Lord, He loved me so much that He gave His life here just to die for the many sins that I commit ever so often, brother. You know, I try, just like you were saying, like old Peter, I try to keep my eyes forward and keep them on the Lord, because if you don't, you're going to sink in this world. You know, be the father that my Lord wants you to be, and one day when you leave this world, it's not going to be long after those little ones are going to be right behind you. If you go to the Lord, you know, so many people get confused. How do I know that the Lord's talking to me? How do you know such a thing? What does it mean to be blessed? Have you ever heard a church song? Have you ever heard somebody sing and it just burned down in the very pits of your soul? You know, and the tears just start to flow and there's nothing you can do about it. That's what a blessing is today. That's how my Lord talks to you. Listen, you can turn a deaf ear to it. You can turn a blind eye to it, but He's still going to be outside your heart's door. And if you want to ask anybody, you can ask this old boy up here who pushed him away ever so often. But let me tell you, there's not a doctor in this world, and Brother Jeremy knew that. You know, you can't trust man when it comes to matters like this. You can only pray that my Lord will guide the hands of those who can help, or the Lord just steps in on it all by Himself there. You know, I know what it's like to have a condition that a doctor couldn't take care of. I know what it's like to be down and depressed, and there's no medicine that can help you. But not too long ago, I found my medicine. I found my doctor, and he prescribed me. He prescribed me a heavy dose of salvation, and that's what it takes. When I leave this world, I've got the best life insurance plan that you could ever dream of, and I'm leaving behind a little something for my children and my family and my friends. You know, my Lord, He's been so good to me. And you know, I believe that He'll put people in your life to keep you where you need to be and keep you on that path. You know, I just started a new job not too far from here, and everybody, there's hundreds of people that work there, but there hasn't been a person I've talked to that I couldn't talk to about the Lord, or they haven't just brought it up to me on their own. And it's kind of weird to me. I've never seen a place like it. Well, let me tell you, I fall short all the time. I fall short daily. I don't pray near as often as I should.
Me either.
I don't give the Lord the thanks and things that I should often as I should. But you know, I got a friend there, and we're in a class together right now, and his name is Chad. And every time the instructor calls on one of us, we get confused. We usually both end up walking up there, but we became pretty good friends. And you know, he's a preacher out here towards Winston-Salem. Me and him went to lunch together one day. We were down in the cafeteria and we got some burgers and fries. And You know, I was throwing my burger together and everything, and not thinking nothing of it, and I went and sat down with him. He had beat me to the table, and I was getting my ketchup and putting my hot sauce and everything on. I was ready to tear into that burger, but then I looked up, and Chad had his head down, and he had his eyes closed, and he was just murmuring under his breath. And you know how shameful I felt just then. Had that burger up to my face, getting ready to take a bite. And then I look over at this boy that's with me there, and he's praying to the Lord before he takes that first bite. And you know, it didn't take long for me to drop that burger up there and start doing the same. And that's the way my Lord works today. You know, it's a beautiful thing that last night that so many of us got together that maybe don't believe in the same ways, but when we came together in Jesus' name, it all worked out. I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think it all worked out pretty good, and that's what it takes. Everybody I've talked to at work, you know, we've got different ways of doing things. They've never heard of old regular Baptists. And to be honest with you, I've never heard of some of the things that they are. But let me tell you, they believe in the same man that I do. And you know, that's all right. Because that gives us something to talk about. You know, and they've got testimonies. They've got testimonies just like I have. You know, they've got things to tell you that no doubt I went through all those same things. Afraid to go to sleep at night. Afraid you'll close your eyes and open them in a devil's head.
That's right.
I've been there.
That's right. Me too.
Afraid to go into the
Yep.
church because every time the preacher will talk, it just pierces your heart.
Yeah.
I've been there and I know what it's like. But you know, there's going to be a day when we say it every so often at the end of our services that the church doors are open. And you know, some people may get confused because we don't open those doors. Those doors have been open for a long time.
Yeah. That's right.
But I feel so sorry for so many. And I know a lot of people like this. You know, when the day comes and this life ends here, those doors are going to close. You may not make it home today, but when you close your eyes in
That's
death,
right.
whether my Lord's came back or not, when you close your eyes, you might as well bet on this. Those church doors are closed. You've got your opportunity today, and if you don't know my Lord, today is the day of salvation. Today is the day to find my Lord. And you know, I've heard it said so often, find the Lord. I found the Lord here and found the Lord there. You know what? I come to find out not too long ago that the Lord was there. I didn't need to find Him. What I needed to do was just open up my heart.
That's right.
I didn't have to search out this
He was
man. That
always
man
there.
was there waiting on me. You know, and if you don't know Him today, today's the day to open your heart, pour out your heart, pour out your worries, pour out your cares unto a man who can carry it all for you. Saved my life. I'll get out of the way here and let Michael or Brandon come, whoever. I'm very, very thankful to be here this morning.
I'm well.
I hope that if you take anything from anything that we say today, anything you've heard, I hope that you take away that Jesus loves you.
Yeah.
And He died, resurrected, and left and went home just to make a place for you. And He's coming back.